Welcome back to another Commercial Trucking Chronicle video. It's your boy Swizzy. We're back. I'm back. It's Friday. How about that? We made it. We made it to Friday, everybody. Payday Friday. How about that? Real quick, before we start the video, I'd like to go ahead and thank some of you guys for subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And it's free. It's free. Okay. No paid subscriptions. No paid subscriptions. This IP is free. He said this IP is free. This is intellectual property. It's free. But I don't know how long it's going to be free. But it's currently free. Hold on, my dog's trying to get in. I mean, I gotta let her in. Come on in, Mom. Come on. Here's your toy. Okay. All right, I'm back. Welcome back to another commercial. Oh, we already did that. Anyway, so we got some bad weather, man. You know what I'm saying? Just passed through here. Everybody got some bad weather, so it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Interstate 85 and with a connection for 85 and 40 going eastbound. There was fatalities in Orange County. It's right at Orange County. It's kind of between Durham and Greensboro. If you're not familiar with the Orange County area, I think that's like Hillsboro. There was a fatal accident. The truck driver was charged with vehicular homicide, and the deceased woman was in her 80s, and she is a resident of the town that I live in. So that's very upsetting, and it's, she probably was maybe within 10 minutes from her home. Only God knows where she was coming from. But, you literally can just be almost at your doorstep, and with the weather being, the way it is, all this freezing. People don't know how to drive in the snow. It's just so sad to think that during a winter storm, you could be so close to getting home where it's nice and warm, and you get out of the elements and you're inside your house, and tragic accident involving a tractor trailer and the person lose their life. So I really, really, really can't stress this enough. Drivers, slow it down. Slow it down. We know what we faced with when we have the rest of the motoring public. Nobody really has, an excuse to drive at those speeds in that type of weather, over the speed limit. Let's put it that way. Okay. And you don't want to wind up being, the one to cause, somebody, loved one, to lose their life, or all this punitive damages and property damage to, people's your personal equipment, or to a company's, property and stuff, just tore the truck up, tore the truck, slammed into it, a couple other trucks or cars and stuff like that. So if the weather's looking, if the weather's looking any kind of suspect, just call and try to get to reschedule your appointment time. You know what I'm saying? Don't even try to make that appointment time. I know when I used to go across country, I used to probably she just want to lay down over here. I used to run to a lot of, I ran into a lot of bad weather, strong winds, you know, like hurricane winds, force winds, snow, freezing rain, ice, you name it. And the minute I ran into bad weather, and I typically didn't take a load until I checked to see what the weather was like, um, you know, going in the direction of where the load need to be delivered. Like, because, you know, you could pick up a load, it could be 80 degrees, you're headed somewhere where it's, you know, 10 below, right? Or by the time you get there, you're gonna run smack into a storm. And that, I was very, 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 very picky about the loads I would take for those reasons alone, because I did not want to run into anything that would, you know, be considered, you know, a hazard, like, you know what I'm saying, flood zones or, you know, any of that, So if you find that that's going to be your, you know, that's going to be your your destination, or you know what I'm saying, like that's your pickup or your next stop or something where the weather's bad, just try to reschedule it maybe a day earlier if possible, or a day later. So it never hurts to go that route. And yeah, because more importantly than trying to just make money, right, is your life. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to be in good health, being able to breathe the fresh air, you know, be able to live. If you can't do that, like, what good is the money, you know? And sadly, this driver is going to be more than likely prosecuted. He's going to have to fight those charges. There's going to be a whole big investigation. But you know, you're looking at losing now your career. It could be other punitive damages. You know what I'm saying? They may come after you, and it may turn to a civil suit, because that's one of the things too. Now the drivers, you know, you have an accident, they can charge you for the insurance. Probably won't cover anything. Now you wind up having to pay the punitive damages. So there's a civil suit as far as, you know, even a criminal charge. You may be having to face criminal charges and a civil suit. So it's not worth it. Slow it down. Did you guys hear that Donald Trump, Elon Musk, they're Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they're um, um, talking about this $5,000 to each household. Now, I don't know if that's $5,000 for each tax-paying citizen, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Sounds to me like they found a lot of, you know, they've done some audits, you know, of the IRS, and they've done some audits, you know, and they found a lot of fraud. They found a lot of, you know, Social Security. I think they audited Social Security Administration, and the IRS, and I think they're auditing Fort Knox. So they're uncovering, like, they're just peeling back, you know, layers and layers and layers and layers of corruption. Okay, that exists. We know that within any government, within any municipality, or at a local and at a federal level, there is fraud, there is corruption, there is embezzlement, there is money laundering. It's kept quiet. It's if you're not in those rooms, you don't know. So they're trying to keep him out of those rooms so he doesn't find this stuff, like Elon Musk. So I guess he got access and is uncovering. He's just peeling back all the fraud, and just, you know, got the receipts. Here's the money. Here's money. It went here, but they're robbing the American people. Okay, this is what I gotta say about that. He's a federal contractor, right? So he knows on a federal level, like how they play games with the money, how they award those contracts, and how much money, like there's always a such thing as, okay, anybody that does contract work knows, all right, listen, you got to have a buffer. So if it's like, okay, we're going to need 10 square feet, you order 15, all right, and they're paying for it, right? Because we might things break, all right? So, in the construction phase, like it's like a screw, one to use, two to lose. Why? Because the guy might drop one. You know what I'm saying? He might drop two by the time he get the screw in right. So anyway, he's got to know that these numbers are inflated for a reason, right? And but when you go, I guess he's going in there and he's seeing such an inflation, such inflation of numbers. Like, all right, why there is debt ceiling every year, more and more and more and more, right? To be able to have more to steal. That's what it seems like to me, right? That's what it seems like. But it doesn't surprise me. I remember when I lived in Bridgeport, right? One of the bridges in Bridgeport that divided one side of town from the other was under construction for like 15 years. Who was the mayor? Well, at the time, he was, probably didn't nobody know what he was up to. Years later, he goes and does Fed time, comes back out and gets the job back as being the mayor again. So they voted him back in office. Now, that don't sound like a Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? And he's still the mayor. But it's crazy to think like our elected officials, there's only so much that they can do because this is how the system is designed. All right? This is how the system is designed. So when they start trying to pass these laws for more transparency, ask yourself, do you want things to get better or not? Like, you already know that we've had so much of a rough, time, for this, with this administration, with that administration, and with this administration. Nobody ever agrees, or nobody ever seems to approve of the funds being spent the way they're spent. Like, oh, why are we spending all this money to buy tanks when we can use the money over here? Or why are we investing so much money into the military? We have so much homelessness going on. There could be a number of things. Like, people will never ever agree. Which brings me to The View. They're shutting The View down if they haven't already, because these women, they're speaking their voice, right? And I don't like the show. I never liked the show, but I just feel like, just because you don't like the fact that these women are opinionated, or they have their preferences. Everybody has a preference. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to watch my channel. You could watch somebody else's channel. But if you prefer to stay here, hit the like button, subscribe, and share the video. But I just don't know that and I don't want to sound one-sided, or you know what I'm saying? You see, I'm trying to stay neutral, because somebody's got to be the voice of reason, but you got to listen to both sides. There's always two sides, right? And although I don't like what Musk and them and Donald Trump and them are trying to do by shutting down that show, I like what he's trying to do by bringing the transparency. You see what I'm saying? So there's things that, it's like a two-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you do? Pick the lesser of the two evils, right? So it's very, very, very confusing, but I'm not losing no sleep over this stuff. I know this is all going to hash itself out eventually, because I'm going to tell you something. They're moving towards transparency. You really want to know the truth? You're going to know the truth. You want to know the truth? You want to be set free from all of that confusion, right? You're going to find it out very soon. Let them do what they're doing, right? As far as remolding, I think we're on the, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're being what they call it? Like the, not the potter's house, but you know, like the clay or mold, you know how they mold something? They're shaping and remolding the government. It needs to be done. It needs to be done. All of it needs to be redone, right? And that's just the truth. The trucking industry, it needs to be redone. It needs to be so much transparency, right? The rate confirmations, you know, what these brokers are paying, or what these shippers are paying these brokers, like they're gonna eventually they're gonna get to that. They're gonna get to it, right? And all of this stuff is gonna wind up becoming encrypted. It's gonna all get encrypted. It's like being on a blockchain from peer to peer. It's gonna be encrypted. There's not gonna be no way to hide anything. So enjoy the time that you have now, being able to, you know what I'm saying, almost hide the stuff. You know, there's cameras everywhere. It's almost basically letting you know, like, in a minute, you're not gonna have privacy. You're not. You're not. And free speech, it seems like that's on the line, right? Because let the billionaires have anything to say about it, right? It's what they got to say at the end of the day. Like, that's crazy. But, you know, it's all gonna come to a head. It's like a snowball right now, just rolling down the hill. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And in a minute, you're gonna witness like you've never witnessed before, the truth coming to the light. You know, it's gonna be tough for a lot of people. Okay, it's gonna be very tough. So, I just hope that everybody is prepared, because that's like having, you know, somebody who's basically, you know, watching everything. And Doge, Department of um, Government Efficiency, their goal is transparency, and that's in at the federal level and at the state local level. That's going to mean if you have anything to do with any kind of government contract, that means your trucking company, that means your shippers, that means the the ports, you know what I'm saying? That means everything. It's international trade, all of it. It's all going to be transparent. There's not going to be a single. It's just going to be a whole new world. It's going to be a whole new world. We're at the doorsteps of that happening. You have a president, a seating president, who he's pushing this agenda. It's the golden age. This is the golden age. Well, knowing everything, I guess that would be the golden age. No more questions, right? Okay, $5,000 stimulus checks, and we're out of here. Okay. So you don't like these guys, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, the Republican Party. You don't want nothing to do with any of them. Are you gonna cash that check? If they send that check to you, is you gonna cash it? If you cash it, guess what? They're gonna know that you cashed it. Ain't gonna be no, oh, I cashed it, or it went in somebody. They're gonna give checks to people that are 300 years old. On the low. That's coming to an end. That's about to be done, if it ain't done already. So, and you'll have these guys to thank for that, right? What? That, you know, the money's gonna actually get to the people that it's supposed to go to, right? And, you know, the system will recognize when you cashed the check, where you cashed it at. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even what you did with it. But I guess that's the golden age, because ain't gonna be a dime spent that's gonna go to waste. They don't know where it's all at. So let me know what you think about it. Today's Friday, payday. I'm going shopping, baby. Get me some crypto. I'm gonna go buy some crypto. So if in case you didn't know, now you know. Okay, like, subscribe if you want some more of this free intellectual property, because it's free. But I don't know how much longer this intellectual property is seen. I say intellectual property because I own my thoughts, and you should own yours. You do. But just don't let nobody manipulate your brain into thinking, what it is that they have as far as an agenda. Free speech comes with intellectual property, right? So you want to hold on to that. Y'all have a good one. Be safe out there. Drivers, slow it down. And I'll catch you on the next video.